Think of the year 1856. That was 5 years before the Civil War. The President of the United States was Franklin Pierce. The accordion was patented that same year. And the author of The Wizard of Oz, Frank Baum, was born. It was also the birth year of Woodrow Wilson, who later became president. We're here at the Butler Fair because they started in 1856 as well. It's been all these years that the big Butler Fair has been running every single year since then. Harold Dunn has been on the board for 25 or more years. Harold, what goes on at the Butler Fair this year and every year?
Well, when the fair started, it was originally a harness association. So we're real proud of the fact that we still maintain a grandstand with a racetrack. We have horse stables here that we house almost 100 horses year-round at the fair. Most people don't know that, but
you say this was started off as a horse program?
It was a harness racing association.
Is that all that happened that first year?
That's correct. Yes, from what we know in the records, originally it was strictly for harness racing and for the farmers, and there was a lot of politicians that had animals they were real proud of, so they'd bring those out for exhibition and actually race.
I would imagine a lot of politicians had some speeches to make because
sure.
They were running for office soon.
Always do, always do.
Now, what are the events that people are attracted to here?
Well, as I mentioned, now that we're an 8-day fair, we always start off the week. We have 3 days of harness racing to start the fair. And then as we have our livestock animals come in, from poultry to rabbits, dairy cattle, beef cattle, sheep, hogs, you name it. And again, those are typical events we have every single year. Our granges host a lot of events. They have quilting and a lot of exhibits. And of course, here in the background with the carnival, I'm sure they didn't have a carnival back at that time, but we certainly have a carnival now. And you know, we're trying to balance all the time the educating the public regarding agriculture and at the same time, making it an entertainment venue.
People come from all over to see all of this, and I realize that when it comes to, you mentioned words like grange, people don't know what that is.
Yeah, well, a lot of our agriculture organizations, not that we struggle, but it's a different era now. I mean, here we are having a TV program recorded, and I'm sure in 1856 that was never even dreamt of. But we do have folks from throughout western Pennsylvania, eastern Ohio, West Virginia come in. I was the secretary here for quite a few years, and we actually have people that come in and stay on the grounds from Iowa. They come in here every year, they stay on the grounds, they have family back in this area, but they come in and enjoy the fair with us every single year.
It's interesting you mention Iowa because they have one of the biggest state fairs in the country.
They do indeed. Great fair. Hope to see it someday.
Now, when they come here, of course, they spend a lot of money because there are ways to spend money, but it doesn't have to be expensive, does it?
Right. And again, as far as admissions goes to the fairgrounds, we try to keep that reasonable. It's less than going to a movie for a couple hours. And we defy anybody to come here and not be able to spend a whole day and not retrace their steps. There's an awful lot here. We've got about 150 acres here, and it's jam full, either, with all kinds of different exhibits and so forth. So we try to make sure we have something for everybody.
Now, Harold, how different is this from other fairs around western Pennsylvania?
I don't know that it's that different. We try to provide that, as I mentioned, that same entertainment, an opportunity for local farmers to exhibit their produce, their livestock, and so forth. So I don't know that it's that different. I think that's where we gain our strength, is providing those similar fairs throughout the Commonwealth.
Now, you mentioned the attractions. One thing you haven't mentioned yet, which I know is one of the biggest attractions, and that's food.
Yeah, you bet it is, and you can tell I enjoy that. And, there's folks, we have different crowds come throughout the course of the day and the week. A lot of times our judging events we hold throughout the morning hours when it's a little cooler, and we've got a group that'll come in for those exhibits. And then we have another group that comes in late afternoon, and they come in for dinner here in the evening and ride some rides, catch a show, and so forth.
Well, we want to talk to some people involved with the food. We want to talk with some people involved with the Midway, and we'll do that in a moment. Harold, good to talk to you.
Thanks for being here.